come unto the elected the nation of Israel, giving all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Lord, willing this lesson is edifying, straight to the point, giving double honor to the apostle of GMS. Jake got a short attention span, So, you gotta kind of get to the point, or else Jake be trying to skip through it. So I know how that be, brother. So, today's lesson is going to be titled on pupil. And, the word Jake also is a short for Jacob. So-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, we're descendants and kin to Jacob, So for short, we call it Jake. But, the title of this lesson is going to be pupil, and what a pupil is. A pupil can be defined as a lot of times people see a pupil as someone that's under his disciple, which is a student. That's really what a pupil is, a student. But we're talking about the anatomy of the eye, pupil, because the pupil is, it's a fascinating part of the body, especially the eye, because that's the center, that's the opening, of the iris. The iris is the color of your eye, so the pupil is literally like the center, so brothers are able to see lights off of your eyes, like different light balances, if that makes sense. Like you can see, brighter eyes than others, like compared to if you're looking somewhere in the world that looks real, real like, what's the word? Terminology would be, you could even just say dead, spiritually dead, and there's levels to it, You can tell when brothers are more on fire and things of those sort, that you could just tell, it's just a discernment that the Lord gives you, brothers' eyes are literally and spiritually washed with that eye salve, when the Lord is dealing with them, and your pupil, it actually regulates a different light. If it's darker, like pitch dark, and your eye is struggling to see, it's gonna become wider, so you can pretty much perceive and believe, more confidently towards taking your next step, And if it's very bright, your pupil is gonna pretty much shrink, to not strain its nerves and things of those sort, So the reason why I'm going into the word eye, in the pupil, because in this book, one of the major important things in senses is seeing. It also says, you want to have ears that hear. You want to have eyes that see. So it is important to listen. Of course, take heed. To your teachers. What's being taught. But this topic is on seeing. Because in the world, there's a popular saying: "Is seeing is believing." And with us, that's not, there's ways you can look at it, that's not us because we don't need to see it to believe it, but that's also us because we can see it, past a different realm, we see through this, we don't see that there's anything here left for us to, pretty much take advantage of it or do. But we'll get into the scriptures right now. Matthew 13, chapter 13, verse 15, and it reads, "For this people's heart is wax gross, their ears are dull of hearing." So they don't have a lot of earwax. They use their Q-tips. They take a lot of good showers. It's just their understanding. The word is a stumbling block unto them, and words of wisdom is really just like someone talking Chinese to them. And their eyes have closed. And their eyes they have closed. So their eyes are not literally closed, but they're forcing them shut. Why? Because they despise wisdom. Lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, I shall heal them. So 2/3 were to change and understand, and do right. Somehow, the Lord would look out for them, and that. But even though this is going to a different sense, I'm just putting that into that account, But verse 16 says, "But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear." So that's the elect, they shall understand, the sayings of this book, they shall hearken unto the words of the Most High, and it says, "Blessed are your eyes," like literally, like it's a blessing for you to have your set of eyes, because you can't just buy eyes. Even if a elect member was to pass away you know, in this life right here, and their eyeballs are taken, and you have no eyeballs, so you're gonna do genetics, you're gonna do some sort of surgery so you can see better through His Spirit, through His eye lens that the Lord give Him. It's not gonna work like that, you know. So the Lord's saying, you know, with the Spirit that you have, that you can see past and understand these dark sayings and these pretty much these dark sayings, you know. There's other words and there's other ways to describe, you know, how the Lord speaks. You know, His facetiousness. You know, you gotta know when the Lord's being sarcastic, when the Lord's being literal. For verily I say unto you that many prophets, righteous men, have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them. And that's talking about the past, you know. So, you know, now we come into, you know, these prophecies are jumping off the book, so we're like super blessed, you know, because we have a chance to see the end of this, you know, and really see these things come to pass, you know, because from old time, you know, prophets have always desired to see the end of this Babylonian, you know, rulership, you know, us being under the foot of these heathens. Book of John 20. I don't have too many precepts, so bear with me. The book of John 20, verse 29. And Yahweh said unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen, yet believe, you know. So, yeah, although we don't see, you know, the Most High literal, you know, but we definitely believe, man. You know, we can tell He's dealing. When we say His name, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit, and the holy tongue, we can feel the vibration, you know. Compared to just saying Jesus and slinging that, like that's just, you know, that's really, you know, when you're not allowed to say curse words or certain words in front of your parents or people that you respect, that's really like what saying Jesus around. I mean, unless we're like, you know, we down talking the word Jesus, you know, even when we're trying to edify somebody, you know, it's just like Jesus should not be coming out, you know, when you have this knowledge and understanding, you know, just to show, you know, what we believe, how we can tell through the Spirit, you know, when the Lord is dealing, you know. Certain brothers get different visions, get different dreams, you know, discern differently, but it's really all a balance, you know. The Lord, you know, all men's goings is of the Lord. That's what I wanted to say, you know. So whatever's going on, you know, is of the Lord. And guess what? When Satan hops on a brother, or when a brother, you know, is acting wayward, you know, talking to myself first and foremost, you know, brothers will have that that discernment, you know, to be on an accordance, you know, and the Lord will settle it how it needs to be settled. But the point being, you know, it's seeing, you know, because in the world, I'm gonna say it again, there's a popular saying, you know, you gotta see it to believe it. Well, brother, if you gotta see the kingdom to believe it, just go ahead and enjoy this world and die, because you're gonna see the kingdom. You know, if you're a Jake, you know, you're going to see the Most High's kinfolk pretty much rule. You know, it's gonna happen. You know, and we know that, and that's why we're blessed, because we want to see the kingdom of ours be brought from nothing all the way to something. You know, we don't want to just be born in the kingdom. All, you know, the movie's already going. Hell no, you know, we doing what we doing for a reason. You know, we in the back. We know the whole thing. It's such a boss feeling, really, a kingdom mentality, ruling mentality, when you know what's going on. Like, I don't even want to get carnal, but it is what it is. You know, trust me, a movie producer, those who's getting the credits on those TV screens, feel a lot more empowered than a consumer of the movie, you know, if that makes sense. Second to last verse, Luke 8:10, and he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of the Most High, but to others in parables. That's what I wanted to say, you know. So this book is written in parables and deep sayings, you know. So for us to have understanding, this is going to be stability and wisdom in the times to come. You know, you can't buy this. Like, you know, a lot of us love our mothers so much, you know, or love a family member so much, you know, to some degree, that we love for them to understand it. You know, we'll try to shove it in their brain, but it's not meant for them. Or guess what? It's not meant for them at that time, you know. So with that being said, you know, you gotta cherish the gift of yours, that seeing they may not see, and hearing they may not understand. Now the parable is this: to see the word of the Most High. Those by the wayside are they that hear. Then cometh the devil and take away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. We're gonna go to the book of Ezekiel, and we're gonna end it off with that. Ezekiel 12. And it reads 12:2, and it reads, Son of man, thou dwellest in the midst of a rebellious house. You know, we dwell amongst our people and these other nations. You know, everybody just being wicked. You know, denouncing the name of the Heavenly Father's image. You know what He stands for, his doctrine, His gospel. Which have eyes to see and see not, they have ears to hear and hear not, for they are a rebellious house. So you know, you're from what you should got from this lesson is a lot of verses are kind of repeated. You know, but in different ways. But when something is repeated and hearkened on, that goes to show you the importance and its significance. So you know, to have pupils, and then to have bright pupils, and then to have pupils of understanding, you know, that's, you know, that's nothing. That's something you can't pay for. You can go on the black market and try to get some shit, but you know, hopefully this point was brought home. You know, because we got pupils. Those pupils are like, you could see through people at times. You know, you got demons that come by. You can already tell what kind of spirit they coming in, and what familiar spirit that is, because they don't understand that we used to be a part of the world as well. You know, we were in a Gentile state before we knew about the truth. So therefore, what you're doing is nothing new. I either went through it or experienced it, or I had a fellow in the world that had that spirit. You know, that type of deal. You know, that discernment. But I don't want to ramble, so with that, Lord willing, this is edifying, straight to the point. Give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh Shem Yahshai Bashem Kakadash. Shalom.